All right. So some of this may seem very elementary, so bear with me, but this is going for people who are just starting up who maybe don't know this, or even for those people who've been doing it a long time and haven't thought about pricing it this way. So there's the other ways that you can price it. This is the way that I just prefer to because it breaks things down to the smallest part and allows me to have more control as I'm really looking and scaling and growing my business. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to start off with the square, with a square inch. So we got one square inch. When you start looking at this 12 by 12 here, so that's 12 by 12. So this one little square, that one image has 144 square inches inside of it, right? So your when you're looking at your square foot, which is what that is, at 12 by 12, that has 144 square inches in it. When you look at your linear foot, that's just 2 square feet. So you have 144 there, 144 there. That means just 288. And when you look at your 3.3 yards, that's going to be 30 square feet. And that's going to be equivalent to 4,320. And I did that because most of the transfer gain sheets that I see out there, they are pricing it based off of the, being 30 feet long. So that's where I got that price from. All right. So you can see this right here. Really simple breakdown: square inch. You got your square foot, then you have your linear foot, and then it breaks down to 4,322 square inches inside of the 3.3, which would be, 30 square feet. All right. So let's dive a little bit, make a little bit more sense for you. So when you look here, this here is going to represent a roll of film. So you generally have 328 feet, right? But what we do for all of our calculations is we account this little green area here, which is 28 feet. We'll count that for waste. So we don't even count that. So we do all of our calculations based off of 300 feet. Inside of this 24 by 300 feet, you have 86,400 square inches. And that's where we're going to do all of our calculations off of this 86,400 square inches. And we already took off 28 feet for waste, right? So what we're doing, we want to figure out our of goods. So for every roll of film, you can say you're going to go through about 3 bottles of white. You're going to go through about 20 to 25% of each CMYK, and we're going to factor that into numbers. You're going to go through about 6 pounds worth of powder. So we'll factor that in, 6 pounds of powder. CMYK. Okay, and then of course you got 1 roll of film. So we want to go ahead and calculate that up, and then I'm going to show you a little breakdown of a pricing sheet. So with that white, let's say you're paying $54.99 for a bottle of white, $54.99 times 3 bottles, and that's going to equal right at $164.97. CMYK, let's say that we're going to just use $45.04 worth of the CMYK ink. So you'll go through about 3 rolls of film before you go through all of your CMYK. And of course, that's going to vary because if you're printing a lot of golds and yellows or magentas, of course, one color is going to go out before the other ones. But this is just some basic numbers there. Let's say your roll of film is going to cost you $79.99. 6 pounds of powder is going to cost you about $72. And we're not even going to go into right now counting the salary and the fixed costs, but you do want to factor in, like, how much do you want to pay yourself per square inch? Is that maybe 2 cents per square inch? Is that 1 cent per square inch? Like, what do you want to pay yourself? So to give you an example on that, again, remember we're doing 86,400 square inches. If you paid yourself, you multiply that times 0.010, you're going to come up where you'll only paying yourself about $864 per roll. If you want to pay yourself 0.02 cents, then you'll be making about 1,728 per roll. Now, again, that's not even including your other fixed costs or your other variable costs, like your rent, your electric, your utilities. Do you have another part-time person? What are you setting aside for the maintenance? It's not including any of that information. All right. So we're just looking at bare basics here. In later lessons, we'll dive into the fixed costs and the variable costs to really go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper. All right. So this just kind of gives you an idea. Let's go back here. So our cost of goods is going to end up costing a total of $362. All right. Now we're going to break down, what does this look like? What does your profitability look like based off of if you purchased, just a 2-head 24-inch printer? Okay, so let's keep all of this in mind right here, and let's go over to our pricing sheet. Now, you can see your pricing sheet here. This is just based off of the 24-inch 2-head model. The printer investment is $10,990. That's for the printer. That's for the the package that we ran at ISS. That was for the printer and the dryer. That actually included all the consumables you needed to make all of your money back. That was included in that as well. So customers got this information so you can see, without any smoke and mirrors or hocus pocus, what is it going to take for you to make a return on your investment? Because again, that's why we go into business, right? So let's look. So when you have the customers out here, they invest $10,990 for a printer. And let's say you're down here and you're charging this right here, this 2 cents per square inch, which most people do. They come in, they say, all right, let's get them in here. We can go in at 2 cents per square inch. If you do that, you're going to be making $1,728 per roll. See this here? That means when you have your $1,728, you want to subtract your cost of goods, right? So your cost of goods is $362. That's going to leave you with $1,366 as far as worth of profits. All right. So that means you printed a roll, you got your money aside, and now you can reinvest that $362 for another roll. And now you're left with $1,366. Now let's keep that number in mind. Let's go back here for a second. So you have $1,366 that you're making per roll. So right now, with that amount that you're paying, you couldn't pay yourself 2 cents per square inch if you wanted to, because that'll put you in the negative, right? Because you would have been at 1,728. So you're going to have to be more along the maybe 1 cent per square inch, and that puts you at $864. All right. So once you take out that $864, how much money do you have left? 864. All right, we got 2. We got 0. We got that at. It's $502. Now that $502, that has to go towards how much is your rent? How much is your utilities? How much is your electric? Your internet, right? Now, granted, that's only one roll. How many rolls a week are you selling? How many rolls a month are you selling? Are you selling 4 rolls a month? So that's going to make that $2,000 that you're working with. Are you selling 8 rolls or 10 rolls? So now you start to get the idea of how much you would actually have to be selling to really make money at that price point. Let's go back and take another look. So that's at 2 cents per square inch. We recommend that you should be at 4 cents per square inch. And here's why. As I mentioned before, a lot of times what happens is you say, hey, I'm in business. This is what my competitors are doing. But again, you don't know how many printers they're actually running in their setup. You don't know what makes up their numbers. So when you go in and you start racing to regret, you may get some business, but it's not going to be the quality business. It's not going to be those customers that are going to come back to you, because chances are you've had to cut your prices so just to get that customer, right? So that's not really your customer. You have to find out who your customer is. And when you're just getting started out, there's nothing wrong with just starting with your local area and growing into where you want to be. One of the things I see, people come out, they get to the DTF group, they figure, hey, it's 90,000 people in here. If I just go ahead and put this post out and so many people go ahead and pick my transfers, then I'm making this amount of money. That's the basic level of thinking. But we want to go ahead and start get you to think a little bit higher, just so you can, again, just elevate the business. That's all it is. Just elevating the business. So when you are, let's put it like this. I always preach having an abundance mindset versus one of lack. One of lack means, okay, I have to lower my prices so I can get these customers because there's not enough customers out there. And that's a real misconception. There are more customers out there than you can service. Let's say you took your business and you put it at 2 cents per square inch. And all of a sudden, you got 10,000 people that want to order transfers from you. You have one printer. What's going to happen to your business? Right? You're not even going to be able to service those customers, right? You're not going to be able to service those 10,000 customers. You're probably going to end up farming some different stuff out where you have zero control over your quality and things of that nature. And you're probably going to return more of that money than what you keep. And we haven't even started talking about credit card processing fees and all that other good stuff, right? So when you are operating from a place of abundance, it allows you to say, you know what? This is the worth. This is the value that I'm going to bring to customers. We're going to be spot on in our colors. So we're going to spend a lot of time doing our color calibrations and making sure there's consistency there. We want to make sure that maybe we cannot do 24-hour turnaround like on some of these other companies. So I'm not even going to put that out there because all of a sudden, if you got, again, 100 people that said, hey, we want our transfers. We print them from you today. One machine, you're not going to get 100 orders out. Not if they're larger orders, right? There's no way you're going to get it out there. So why put yourself in that situation? So you want to make sure that you're set up with the right price to attract the right customer for you at that right time. And then you scale and you grow. And as you add more and more machines, then you can kind of play the flex game and you can kind of start lowering the prices to get more business. Just go ahead and keep feeding the beast. But when you're starting out, I highly recommend that you price accordingly. All right. So we recommend right here, 4 cents per square inch. That's what we recommend. 4 cents per square inch gets you $3,456 per roll. After you take out the 362, that leaves you with $3,094. Now, if you look over here, that means once you sell through maybe 3.25 rolls of film, you've made your money back on your investment. Now, granted, you have not paid yourself, you haven't paid employees, you haven't done anything, but it's still just to give you a scope. Okay, so if I get 3, if I'm paying myself, if I'm paying my rent, if I'm doing these different type of things, let me get through 6 rolls of film. How fast can I get through 6 rolls of film? And then I pay for my investment that I just made. And you're able to do that because you're priced right. Now look down a little bit further. If you were doing it at 2 cents per square inch, you can be at a minimum of almost 6.5 rolls. Again, doubling that up around 13. And let's say if you went even lower, if you were at 1 cent, so like right here, you're going to be selling 10 rolls of film. And then, of course, you double that up before you even start to scratch the surface of getting a return on your investment. All right. So this is just a little brief pricing information. If you like this sheet and you want more information on it, go ahead and just message me and I'll actually email this out to you. Be more than happy to go over it with you more, for your individual business. And right now, we're doing it at no cost for you. We're not charging for the consultations. We do have paid services for the consultations, but this one right here, we're doing this just to get you off the ground. Let's go. Let's grow together. All right. And one last little piece I'm going to put you with. This is just based off of if you're just printing and selling transfers. If you're someone where you're printing your own transfers in-house, and you're making t-shirts for other people, like whether it's for a local soccer team or football team or baseball team or cheer team, something like that, you want to be pricing more around that 6 cents per square inch. So an 11 by 11 image is going to cost the customer about $7, $7.50 per image. Plus, you want to charge, how much are you charging to press it? That might be $3. So that's $10.50. plus whatever the shirt is. Shirt is $3.50. You want to go ahead, add a little bit more onto that just in case you have mess ups. So maybe you charge $6 for that. And now you can start to see how to properly price everything in your business. Okay. But if you're at that 6 cents per square inch, you're going to sell through about 2 rolls at that price. And congratulations, you made a return on your investment. That's no smoke and mirrors. That's no hocus pocus. That's straight you making the decision. Hey, this is the value. This is what I'm going to offer my customers. And this is how we're going to go after it. So I hope that this helped some of you. Again, we're just scratching the surface. We're about to dive hella deep. Don't forget, you can come see me at the DTF Expo in Mesa, Arizona, April the 1st and the 2nd. I'll be speaking on the panel there, Business Tips for Startups. I would love to see you there. It's going to be a lot of other people like myself who are experts in the industry who have a ton of knowledge to go ahead and share with you. You're going to get a chance to see some of the different printers, whether they're the 12-inch printers, 24-inch printers, 9-color printer. You can see a lot of different things that are out there. So go ahead and register for that event. And again, you know where to find me. If you got this far, you've watched the video to the end, I appreciate it. That means you must like the content. Go ahead and, you know what to do and see more of this information as I'm putting it out. It's going to probably be weekly, if not a little bit more than weekly. All right. So let's grow together. Talk to you soon.